Hasan. You guys want to talk about Hasan, you drama mongers? You drama queens and drama kings. It's not really drama, and I'm not really like trying to like catch anybody on something because Hasan has talked openly about this. Hasan released a video titled "Getting Kicked Out of the DNC," and that got me a little suspicious of, wait a second, could he have been kicked out of the DNC, as this title implies? And so I wanted to watch this video, see what he's talking about, because as what I've been told is that he was on the bleachers, he was doing the event, he was streaming there for 3 days that I had seen as I was covering the events and doing my own thing. And then on the final day, he had said something during the segment where the Israeli family was talking about their kid being kidnapped, and he made some comments about Palestine and how he wants to be a speaker and made some critiques, and that could have motivated them to kick him out on the final day. Or, as others are saying, because I've heard multiple things, that actually they just didn't have enough space, and they told him he could use that space the whole day, but they actually couldn't, and he had to leave. Let's watch the Hasanabi thing, then we'll watch what he said that people are saying could have got him kicked out. Let's watch Hasanabi's video.
He looks terrified. It's fine. It's just like we're getting booted. We're getting booted from this space. We're fine. We're fine for now in this. Well, we're not fine for now. We're like literally like we're permanently done here. Bro, that's so whack. Fight back? What do you mean?
Fight the power, Hasan. Grab a blunt instrument. These are DNC folks. You can fight the power.
I will get evicted forcibly at gunpoint. There's no fighting back. If they say, when someone says you gotta leave this area and like move to a different area, do you know how many Secret Service and like federal agents are here? Like there's no world where I just keep doing this. Are they giving you another place to go? I don't know. And what are we gonna do about our stuff? Why even let you in just to kick you around? Guys, come on. We're at the Democratic National Convention. There's a lot of things that are moving around, okay? There's a lot of moving parts at any given moment. They're not kicking me out of the convention. They're saying that they have to use this space. They wouldn't do this to CNN.
1 second. Let me check out the title. Getting kicked out of the DNC. Okay, well, okay.
And yeah, no shit, they wouldn't do this to CNN, dog. I'm not CNN. What do you mean? The fact that I have CNN level access is already insane. Be for real, okay? I don't even know how I got this level of accommodation to begin with. Tell them your uncle Jank. Your uncle is Jank. Yeah, I'll tell them that. They gave him a worse space than me, so I don't know how that would work. Just kind of whack as you told him you'd want to do it all day. Yeah, I know. I literally said, if I can't do it all day, I won't come in. I will just stream from my hotel room. But it is what it is, okay? It's not their fault. It's out of our hands. It's out of everyone else's hands. Listen, they pushed out Joe Biden. Of course, they'll push me out too, you know? They're kicking us out.
Unlucky.
I don't know why.
Apparently there's a double booking. That might just be an excuse. I don't know.
So I guess at the end of the day, while they do appreciate online influencers, the level of reverence and respect for online influencers is still not exactly up to par with, you know, traditional media.
The thing that gets me about this, and the thing that confuses me about this, is like, Hasan was there for 3 days and he got to do coverage. This is the 4th day. This is the final day. Why wait till now to pull the rug out from under him like that? If what he's saying is true about them saying like, okay, yeah, you can stream here all day, and yeah, lugging all that stuff around is a real, you know, it's a real pain in the ass, then why would they? It doesn't make any sense that they would just do it for no reason. So it would either have to be that there was genuinely a double booking and they booked somebody else and it was a massive mistake, or Hasan did something to piss him off and they said, how do we politely ask him to leave? Well, we're not going to go up to him directly and be like, hey, you said this thing about Palestine, please leave. Or, hey, you said this thing that was too critical at our DNC event, please leave. But we do need to remember, this is the Democrat National Convention, right? This is the DNC. They've got one job and one job only. And that is, to be blunt, and there's a few other jobs, but to be blunt, it's to win. It's to get Democrats into political positions. It's to win elections, win elections, win elections. And so if you're going there and they're giving you like a whole day's access, like a prime spot to be streaming there, and then you start to be a squeaky wheel, it wouldn't be too surprising to me if they're going to move you off of that primetime access. If, you know, VIP access maybe will not be as accessible to you. Their main job is to make Democrats win. And so if you're up there saying wild stuff or stuff that's too critical of the campaign, and you're not like a mainstream news outlet, maybe they're going to treat you differently. I mean, they really, honestly speaking, while there are news stations that are going to be more critical and they're probably still going to be given good space, when you're an influencer, you are not given the same respect, no matter how big you are, honestly, as much as like mainstream news outlets. They'll see the views, they'll respect the views, but there is still a level of condescension.
I doubt that, you know, NBC would be getting kicked out randomly. But now you can tell your colleagues, like, no, I saw the largest online commentator get chucked out with 60,000 people watching.
He's got a reporter with him who's supposed to be doing a story on Hasan, I believe.
You know, it happens to everybody is what I'm saying. All right, we're ready to go. Let's let it rip. Shave your mustache like Mike Pillow? Yeah. I want to shave my mustache like Michael Pillow and come back in.
Did you see the footage of that?
I did. It was incredible. He got owned by children.
That was very funny. I saw Matt Walsh was trying to sneak to get in. Mike Pillow. Why am I calling him Mike Pillow? Mike Lindell.
How embarrassing.
That 12-year-old kid?
Yeah. That was awesome. I mean, they didn't even take our credentials away. We still have access to this floor. I feel like the worst part about this is like I feel like a kid that's been naughty. You know what I mean? But you also don't know what, like, I also don't know what I've done, and it almost feels like, I mean, it could be any number of different things. You know what I mean? And it's the uncertainty of it all that makes me feel worse about.
Okay, so should we pause here and go watch the thing that people are saying is probably what did it, or should we just keep like watching this and then we'll go watch it after?
The situation, but I also still feel pretty good because I never would have imagined getting this level of access to begin with. No worries. Someone is definitely watching the stream because I literally said, oh, they didn't even take our credentials away.
Oh, snap. So then the DNC sent somebody to go to Hasan to take away his press credentials. So they didn't just take away his spot, they did end up taking away his press credentials as well.
And then just showed up.
That's not usual. I've never had that happen to me before. And if that would happen to me, I would feel like I'm getting boxed out.
Someone is watching the stream.
But on this theory that they were going to give you the whole thing and then cut it down, you think it's because you said something today they didn't like?
I did compare DNC to Israel. That might have been the
I mean, like, it's not like they just found a secret clip day 4. He streamed there for 3 days. It's then day 4. And it's like the last big event. They wouldn't just wait now to just cuck Hasan because they don't like Hasan. There would either have to be some big revelation that came up, or he did something in the last 24 hours or during his event there, during his time there, that angered them enough to think, we shouldn't keep him here. And again, my main thought is always going to be going back to the job of the DNC is to get Democrats elected. If Hasan is not helping them get Democrats elected, and he's not an institution, he's just an individual, even a popular individual, why bring him on? Why give him credentials? Why give him a platform to bash us if he's not one of the mainstream news outlets that are just bringing general more attention to us? Like, I think you could still make an argument to bring in someone like Hasan, or bringing even streamers that are critical of your candidate to these places to try to make cases to audiences that might not be as excited to go mobilize for Kamala Harris. But I mean, that all depends on how you behave too, because I'm sure that they have lines for that. I'm sure they have lines, and it's not like Hasan's the only political content creator there.
Final blow, because we got the call like shortly after I tweeted.
Like, I know Pondering was there, I know Beat was there, I know a bunch of other people was there. And I don't know about any of them getting treated like this or having this happen to them.
Because so the Uncommitted campaign wanted to have a Palestinian American speak.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a pretty reasonable demand. Like these aren't like random activists. These are like Democratic Party operatives, right? Like they just happen to be Palestinian American, right?
Right.
And Mehdi Hassan said, and Rashida Tlaib as well, confirmed it, that the DNC was like sending out information to the press that like, oh, actually we wanted the Georgian, the Palestinian American from Georgia, Rula, I think her name is?
Yeah.
That she was one of the speakers that they gave to the DNC with like a vetted speech. And then the DNC was apparently, or someone was leaking to the media that like it was the uncommitted movement that didn't want her to speak specifically, which doesn't make any sense because they literally kept presenting her very openly as the person.
She's out there with Abbas.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so there was a big argument, and I don't think that would be much of a problem to have a Palestinian American speak, even if, like, the thing is, though, and this is always going to be my comment, is that I think that a lot of people that would want that speech, me included, I don't know if I'd be included, it would depend on how the speech went, would probably end up not being too satisfied with the speech, since the speech has to be built around the fact that the event is meant to prop up Kamala Harris. So if the event knocks her down, like, Kamala Harris is not strong enough on, or Biden is not strong enough on, then they're defeating their own selves. It's going to be reported on endlessly in the media. The right wing is going to run with it. They're going to, like, it's going to be a mess. And so they'd rather play the safe route and not be putting up anybody on a stage that they think might take shots at their candidate that they're trying to win. Because the main point of the DNC as an institution is to win elections for Democrats. And like, I'm not against putting any pressure on the institution or to take a better position, but I just want people to remember that, like, even if we get a speaker, or if we did get a speaker, the event's over now, it would have probably ended up being a speech that a lot of the people who are part of the non-aligned movement or are marching on the DNC would not have been satisfied with. Maybe some would have. I probably would have been happy to at least see the representation for sure, but it probably would have not been the speech flaming the administration for their inaction or inability to stop air defense shipments or artillery shell shipments to Israel at some point. MS India, thank you so much for the primer. Appreciate it.
So Mehdi Hassan tweeted about.
Anyway, so they keep going, they keep talking. I don't know how much longer they talk about this. Let's skip ahead before we go and see the clip.
I mean, though, chat and March, like
That we use the most out of the opportunity.
like this is a gimme. Like this was not supposed to happen at all.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
for sure.
Not even in my wildest imagination would I have thought that we would have access to get in to the DNC and like have never in my wildest imagination would I have ever thought that like we would get like 4 days of just like being inside of the DNC, getting full-blown access and taking advantage of it all the way.
Okay, do we got any more interesting commentary? Can we go watch the clip that people think did it?
I didn't get kicked out of the convention. I just got kicked out of the studio space that they had given me. And they did it in like a very weird way too. They did it literally during an interview that I was conducting with the New York Times about creators for Kamala, which makes it like extra crazy because it literally like that is a story in and of itself. I don't know if the guy will actually write about it or not, but like ultimately it was like a very weird thing to do overall because like they had told me originally that they told me that I was fine. Like they told me that I was fine, like that I had this space, that they had allotted for me, that it was going to start late, but then it turns out it was not fine. Unceremoniously out of nowhere, some super donor probably had you kicked out, so they had a box with their kid to watch Taylor Swift. I don't know how the box situation works, but I mean, I know Beyonce is going to perform. Obviously, like that was known for a while. They guaranteed you the space for the whole day and then kicked you out in a way that completely f***ed your schedule. Yeah. But like also the other side of the story is that like, honestly, the other side of the story ultimately is that like I was never supposed to be at the DNC. You know what I mean? So I'll take it. I'll take all the moments that they gave me and all of the, I will take every aspect that, I'll take all of the access that I got. News already reported on creators being kicked out of their spot. Okay. That's so cute, chat. That's funny. You guys are funny. You did great the whole time.
I mean, like, on one hand, I want the DNC to integrate creator stuff more. On the other hand, people like Hasanabi are not going to be, and this is a problem that I'm finding too, because when I called in, I remember I called into, I think a PV event, or like one of the PV streams, and I was talking about how the event was going, and I was very positive. I was like, you know, this party unity is really good. I like that they're leaning into the flag. But I said at one point, like, man, the clapping's insane. The crowd's so into it. I mean, it felt like they were cheering for Kim Jong-un at some points, and they were like, oh, wait, and they like pivoted off of it quick. And I was just joking. I wasn't even critiquing. I was just joking about the clapping. And I thought to myself, like, I don't think anybody really takes that to heart. I'm not gonna get in trouble for this or anything, but I'm like, man, it just shows you how like careful you have to be in these environments about what you say around the candidates, what you say about the candidates, because if they see you as like a possible PR risk for the campaign or for the event or for, of course, the candidate above all else winning the election, then it's better for them to just eliminate that risk than try to commit themselves to freedom of expression. This is a political convention. This isn't like the, you know, the corner on, you know, on the street where the person's, you know, the free speech corner where you're just talking and debating. This is a political convention. They can choose who to give access to, who to put on the stage, who to give press credentials to. And so if they think Hasan or anybody else is too much of a risk, like they can end up giving them the boot. They can end up kicking them out like that. Which on one hand, like on principle, I think probably would have been better to keep Hasan there. But again, like I keep saying, like the main purpose is for them to get like Kamala to win. And Hasan, I don't know if Hasan is always got, like, even though he's been generally pro-Kamala up to this point, she's going to moderate herself in a way to appeal to the general electorate that's probably going to come with critiques from Hasan. For example, like I was, can we watch some of Hasan's? I don't want to watch too much of the speech again because we're concentrating too much on the DNC, honestly. But if you were to go watch Hasan's like reaction to the speech, let's go straight to the Kamala speech. Let's not beat around the bush. If you look at different moments in their speech when she's saying things that are more moderate-ish or things to appeal to the general population or try to account for her flaws, for example, progressive VP candidate pick with no experience in the foreign policy sector, she needs to appear strong on foreign policy. That's the political consensus. That's the political strategy of it. So when she comes to foreign policy issues, she cannot just be like, we need to love and we need to hug and we need to talk it out. And, you know, it'd be good if we just had more diplomacy. She can't just say that because there's a perception of how she's going to be painted. And Republicans, you know, they're comfortable going into like attack patterns that they remember. That's why Donald Trump, with no other options, has settled on Comrade Kamala. They'll go after her as a weak person no matter what, but they don't want to give any ammunition. So when it came to talk foreign policy, definitely when Kamala is kind of like a blank slate when it comes to a lot of foreign policy issues like Ukraine, she tried to project strength. She tried to project an image of strength. Here we go.
As a nation of immigrants and...
This is the moment I wanted to talk about, because to most people, this is something you would expect the President of the United States to say. But this is a moment of dissent from Hasan that would break from like the intentions of the DNC, right? And why... And I will say this is the double standard for how media corporations are treated in comparison to individuals, and how streamers are treated. And I will say that's hypocritical, but... I mean, this is where the DNC is going to break with him and stuff like this.
Our broken immigration system. We can create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border. And America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
What the fuck? Yo.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Bro, what? Yo, she's crazy.
I will make sure.
What is happening?
Okay, one second. I'll let this play for a second.
Leave the world.
Sorry, I need to check something. He's baffled by the idea of an army being a lethal fighting force. Give me a second. Let me go do some research.
Their service and their sacrifice.
Bro, what? Yo, she's crazy.
I will make sure
What is happening?
that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence that America.
So I'm reading this book by von Clausewitz on war, and it seems to say here that an army, a military, is a fighting force of some capacity, made up of usually largely volunteers. They train them in shooting and fighting and such, so they can. Oh my God! So they can kill people. I can't. What have we been doing all this time? I had no idea. I need a moment. No, it's just like if you're the DNC, right, and you're having these creators that you want to engage with, moments like this, even if it shouldn't be enough to like scare you away from working with Hasan, it's gonna make you think like, when we're trying to moderate Kamala's image, and that is what they're trying to do right now, because the last time people really listened to her campaign was back in 2020. I don't know if they really want to be, this is the stuff that they want going out there, being associated with the Democratic National Convention. But this is the mild stuff. But you guys get what I'm saying. I hope.
America, not China, wins the competition for the.
Bro, she said we're going back to Iraq. She was like, I'm gonna make sure.
Leadership.
I'm gonna be real fucking crazy about the military.
Threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's doing the NATO.
I fled Ukraine in first day. I overestimated Russian forces. I was saving 3 months old, and all my thoughts were about him. 2.
Questions. 1, am I a traitor? And 2, how can I effectively help from Norway? No, you're not a traitor. You were just trying to protect your family, and sometimes a man's loyalties can be tested in multiple ways, and you have to make the decision at the time, and you can't really take those decisions back. All you can do is kind of choose how to move forward in your life, As for how you can effectively help in Norway, people do not donate like they used to a lot of the military army funds, donating for excavators, donating for mine clearing equipment, stuff like that. I know excavators are in big demand right now. And I know they are making like foreign legions and stuff, but of course, that's everybody's individual decision. Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, the NATO stuff. We're in the NATO stuff.
She was like, I'm gonna make sure.
Leadership.
I'm gonna be real fucking crazy about the military.
Threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's doing the NATO speech. Oh my God. She's doing the NATO speech. Oh my God. Oh my God.
5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade.
Dude, don't even try to read the chat, man. It's mind-numbing. It's horrible. It's so bad.
Helped mobilize a global response over 50 countries to defend against Putin's aggression. And as president, I will stand stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies.
Hey.
A Kurd is a Kurd.
To quote a great soldier, Hasan got ethnically cleansed from his booth. How sad.
Terrible, terrible.
With respect, and sure Israel has the ability to defend itself. October meeting.
Okay, anyway, they talk, they get into it, it doesn't matter. What I want to get to is I want to see this thing that people said is what made them want to kick him out, which is this moment that Fearbuck and a bunch of other people are seeing that are saying like this is the moment that people suspect caused the DNC to kick him out. Because all of this stuff has been quite mild, in my opinion. Like, none of the stuff that I reacted to, even if I disagree with it, would be stuff that would make me, even as, like, if I was a DNC coordinator, be like, nah, get rid of this guy. We don't want him at our event.
In terms of, like, literally only having Israeli victims.
Okay, so what's happening right now is that there is a speech going on by the mother and father of a child, of a guy that was kidnapped at a music event, and taken hostage by Hamas and had his arm blown off. And they're speaking about how their child has been kidnapped for 320 days, and they want them home, and they want a ceasefire, and they want all this, they want peace in Gaza, and they want their child home. And that's what the speech is about. People got really teary-eyed. It was very emotional. And as the speech is going on, this is what Hasan is talking about.
In terms of like literally only having Israeli victims and their family members be held into question while Palestinian and pro-Palestinian people are getting fucking beaten out, okay? Like they're literally the delegates themselves that dare bring up the Palestinian casualties get fucking booed, they get humiliated, they get kicked aside. It is fucking ridiculous, okay? Yes, of course these people have a right to speak, and yes, of course they deserve to have their child back, okay? I am not a fucking soulless monster. I'm not a heartless piece of shit. Okay, there is no like boo, like I can't believe she's doing this. I can't believe the Democratic Party is doing this. But the fact that after all of the commitment that the Democratic Party has given to the Israeli government to just basically absolutely eviscerate entire Palestinian families with American-made bombs, that they can't even fucking have a Palestinian person, an individual with family members come and speak in this similar fashion is disgusting to me. This conversation itself better turn around into one that specifically focuses on Benjamin Netanyahu and his disruptive attitude towards the ceasefire negotiations, or else I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Okay, so he wants the messaging to switch towards Netanyahu and away from what they're currently talking about to Netanyahu and his like hindrance on the peace process. He wants there to be a Palestinian speaker, and he thinks it's disgusting that they've had these people speak without having a Palestinian speaker with their own family members.
Immoral, morally corrupt,
and
bankrupt.
And you know, the thing is, I am very sympathetic to the idea of having a Palestinian speaker up there. In fact, I do think that they should have had one, and I don't think it would have been that difficult to try to walk that tightrope. I don't think that it's impossible to find a Palestinian that would be able to like not say like, the Israelis, they're evil. Like they're normal people like everyone else. Baked Droden, thank you so much for the tier 1 and being sub for 28 months. I appreciate it. So I'm sure they could find them. But if you call the DNC disgusting for this behavior, and you're going to choose during their statements to be like, of course they can say this. I'm not a fucking piece of shit. I'm not gross. I'm not awful. Like, of course they can talk. Of course they can do this right now. But it's disgusting that we got these people up there instead of the Palestinian, like, and when we're not going to have some Palestinian equivalent. I wouldn't have made the call to kick him out, but I 100% could see a risk-averse DNC, super scared about how this event is going to go, super scared about this issue, which is already a contentious issue outside, where there being protesters outside, and they don't want to take any risks. Now see Hasanabi saying this at this exact moment, not waiting to do it before, not waiting to do it after, but doing it during their segment and thinking, man, you know what? Israel polls still pretty well. Support for Israel still polls pretty well. It still polls better than support for Palestine. We're trying to moderate Kamala. We're trying to introduce Kamala Harris to the country. We've already rolled the dice so many times doing this Joe Biden over to Kamala switch with so many different factors. No more risk. Don't tell him to get out because of this. Just edge him away. Just take him. Just pick him up. Just move him away from the floor so we don't hear any more statements like that tonight, because Kamala is going to talk about Israel during her big speech. And do we really want that big moment to have this guy chirping at Kamala Harris saying how bad she is around Israel when we're trying to sell it, when we're trying to sell Kamala, when we're trying to sell her to the public? This is the big DNC event, and the biggest streamer there is going to be a guy criticizing Kamala Harris? Nah, I don't like it. I'm not saying that's how it went. I'm just saying that I can see it. I can see it. I can understand the logic from the organization, and I can see how Hasanabi would get moved out for something like this. And this is just one moment. We don't have confirmation that this is the moment that got him removed. We don't have any confirmation about any moment particularly getting him removed. It could legitimately be that they had double booked and there had to be some other people put there. But Hasanabi isn't a no-name streamer. He's a big streamer. He says that he was given the commitment that he was going to be there all day. And it is weird for that to happen at the pinnacle, and then for them to take away his press credentials as well. The taking away of the press credentials, that really baffles me. Either way, it seems like Hasanabi was kicked out from being press at the DNC. Dylan, it needs to be remembered that meanwhile, they are very aggressive protesters, some which aren't bashful at all and avowedly support Hamas and Hezbollah on camera. I've seen a few, but most of those people are like freaks, and they're honestly still the fringe of the protests. And I'm just being for real. Like, I saw like one guy supporting Iran, like the Iranian government openly. I saw like one guy supporting Hezbollah and one guy supporting Hamas, and there's a few of them. But I haven't seen any evidence that it's the majority, and it was just a few. Show me evidence? Do we really want to like divert to talk about this right now? I'm not even like condemning all the I'm just saying that they were there. I saw them. And I can know I saw them because I saw Iranian media covering the pro-Iran guys that were there. And it was international Iranian media, so it was anti-regime Iranian media. So the dude was kind of taken aback when the guys were like, what about all the Iranians that think our government fucking sucks? And they're like, they didn't really know how to respond to it. But I mean, like, I saw it, so I know it exists. But like, you're the DNC right now. You want to fuck with these numbers? You want to fuck with these numbers? You don't want to fuck with these numbers. Look how little it took to get JD Vance's like old podcast clips to sink him as having any ounce of popularity. DNC seems a little risk averse right now. That's what I think's going on. I think the DNC is super risk averse. Once his media access was done, his credentials had to be taken away for security reasons. Well, I mean, I would imagine I thought he was done in that booth, but they didn't find anywhere else for him, so they took away his press credentials. If it was really just a double booking, why couldn't they just be like, we'll find another spot for you? Like, I saw creators much smaller than Hasan continuing to stream from other locations. Like, couldn't they have just offered him like a small side room? This is a gigantic building. Whatever. Here's the interview with the femboy. Yeah, I saw these. We could do these quickly. Scootercaster. I like Scootercaster. Oh, here they are. Like, these guys were like weird Nazi LARPers.
Dog shake, 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 dog shake.
Yeah, but these people just seem like freaks. I don't really know. Like, I would not use them to judge the protest movement. The people in like anime attire. But yeah, here's one of them with the Hezbollah flag. And I think I saw this guy gave like an interview. The Hezbollah guy gave like an interview, and he ended up getting frustrated and calling the interviewer like the F slur. I think it was like Iranian, like international Iranian press that I saw do the interview. Let me see if I can. Oh, it might be in my likes. Let me check if it's in my likes. It might be there because I was like, oh, that's funny, and I liked it. Here he is. This is not the one that said the F slur. That was another one, but this is one of the guys with the Iranian flag there.
Could you give me your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Luca DiMaggio.
So I see you're holding a flag of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Why is that?
Yeah, because I'm out here against Israel, and I believe that Iran is the most genuinely anti-Zionist country on earth.
So, Iran, how much do you know about Iran?
How much do I know about Iran? I know about Iran insofar as I know in the 1970s they had a revolution, a very diverse political revolution, but the Islamic Republic of Iran
not diverse anymore.
Formed by the late Ayatollah Khomeini, and currently in Iran they have a system where they have elections, where they do elect a president. They have a multi-party system, but they also do have a significant section of their government with regards to, I believe, more civil government that's run more by religious clerics in the Shia tradition.
There's also a huge part of the Iranian country that is run by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, especially the economy, and their crackdown on women and also minorities. What do you think about that?
So what do I think about that? So I fly the Iranian flag because of their stance on Israel. I do not necessarily agree with their stance on women, and I'm not educated well enough on their treatment of ethnic minorities, or perhaps why they are cracking down on ethnic minorities in this way, to really make an educated comment on that.
But you are basically against what Israel
Could be like one of the good crackdowns of minorities. What if it was a bad minority?
is doing, and because Iran, the Islamic Republic's policies, as you mentioned, are genuine.
I can't find the video where the dude with the Hezbollah flag calls the reporter the F slur. I can't find it. I'm sorry.
Only against that of Israel. That's why you're holding the flag.
I'm holding the Iranian flag because I believe that they're the most, their policies are the most anti-Zionist policies on earth, and because I'm against Zionism, because I think it hurts the American people, and I am an American, and all the people I grew up with and that live around me are American, and I think that the American support of the Israeli government is not within the interest of the American people. I think they're using way too much taxpayer money to fund Israel's personal pet project of creating a Zionist state in the Middle East.
I respect your beliefs, and I'd like to make sure that I word this correctly, but there are a significant part of Iranian people who will be watching this.
Yeah.
Who don't like the regime in Iran.
I'm not.
What do you have to say to them?
What would I have to say to the regime in Iran? I think
the people who are opposed to this flag and the regime. They believe that the regime, the flag that you're holding, does not represent the Iranian people. What do you have to say to those?
What would I have to say to those people? Well, I'm not really going to pander to their situation necessarily, but I would say the reason I hold this flag is not necessarily against any of your personal beliefs or gripes with the state of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran. I am sure that your criticisms are valid, or at least have some validity to them. I hold this flag because the policies of the government in this particular aspect align with the policies that I think American people should strive for.
Why not just like fly the Palestinian flag then? Like, if I want to support Ukraine, I don't really fly the American flag because of American aid to Ukraine. I just fly the Ukrainian flag. This just feels like the edgy version. Like the edgy version of like supporting Ukraine would be like, oh, I'm flying like the flag of Azerbaijan because they sent aid in this way. Like, I don't know, like I'd find like one of the worst regimes that are supporting Ukraine, be like, well, Morocco transferred some, like, I don't know, it's just fly the Palestinian flag. Why fly the Iranian flag, especially if you know about the repression? I mean, like, another girl just died because they were beaten by the morality police. I mean, it's like a lot more common than you would really want. Is this it? Oh yeah, here it is.
Your question?
Yeah.
Why are you flying a Hezbollah flag?
Because I support Hezbollah, Hamas, the PLO. I support China, Russia. I support North Korea.
Okay, so he supports everything that isn't America or doesn't like America. So he lets America control his actions in reverse. I do not let the establishment determine my beliefs, so I just do everything the opposite of the establishment. They take a step forward, I take a step back. I take a step back, they take a step forward. That's how it works. They're totally not controlling my actions.
Why do you support terror proxies?
Because America is a terrorist state, and so is Israel.
Well, you can...
Wait, so So his answer isn't like, no, they're not terrorists. His answer is, no, I'm the good terrorist. I'm the good terrorist. You're the bad terrorist. I'm the yeah, we're terrorists, but we're the good ones.
Disagree with American foreign policy, but this is literally a flag of a terrorist state.
Well, Kamala and Trump.
I'm pro-Palestine, and I would never fly that flag.
Kamala's a fascist. You're
what
a fascist.
do you know about Hezbollah?
You're a fascist.
What do you know about Hezbollah?
You're a fascist. You don't even know anything about it. You've talked to her for 20 seconds. It's like, oh, she's not like with North Korea. She must be Hitler. It's, okay, well, I don't know anything about this woman. She could be fascist, she could not be fascist. I have no idea. This, by the way, is the average Hinkle fan. This is it right here. I've met them in person. There is this socially unaware in most situations, at least from my interactions with them when I was at the Rage Against the War Machine event. Very strange individuals.
What do you know about Hezbollah?
You're a fascist.
What do you know about Hezbollah?
You're a fascist.
What do you know about Hezbollah?
That they kill Americans who occupy countries they shouldn't be in. So.
And they also massacre Palestinians. They massacre Syrians. Like, what happened at Yarmouk? Like, whatever.
Fuck America and fuck you, faggot.
You fucking loser.
Holy shit.
He's so tiny. Just fall on him and... He's so tiny. My God, he'd be a lot more intimidating if he was double in size and didn't look like. Dude, honestly speaking, if you don't got the build or the imposing presence to like do this, you being this tiny and throwing a slur, you look like a child throwing his tram out. You don't look like, oh my God, that's a scary skinhead. He's gonna beat me. You just look like a child throwing your toys out of the tram. Just like, fuck you! Like, you're throwing down the controller. It's Modern Warfare 3. Someone just no-scoped you, and you're angry. You don't know how to deal with it. You check to see if mom's in the room, and then you, like, let one go. Like, what's the... Like, do you think this is the best way to teach your dog how to behave? What if your dog starts throwing around slurs? Oh, my God. Why are always the worst people parents? Anyway, you guys want to go see what's going on here? I think RFK is endorsing Trump.
A few hours